Historical background. Native American are also called American Indian, Amerindian, Amerindian, Aboriginal American, or First Nation person. Many indigenous American groups were hunting and gathering cultures, while others were agricultural peoples. Native people cultivated a variety of plants and animals such as squash, potatoes, and turkey. Between the 15th and the 16th century, Europeans started the conquest of Americas. Indigenous were discriminated by the effects of epidemic disease, military conquest, enslavement, and they were subject to discriminatory political and legal policies well into the 20th and the 21st century. However, they have been among the most active nation people in making political changes and regaining their autonomy. The issue today, Native people are facing a lot of difficulties these days. A lack of resources which leads to poverty and unemployment. In the US, 1 in 3 Native Americans are living in poverty. Living conditions for Native people are dire. In tribal and non-tribal areas, Native American households are overcrowded. Native American students have lower high school graduation rates than other ethnic groups. 70% of Native American students continue their education after high school. Violence against indigenous women and girls are regular. 84% of Native women report having experienced violence at some point in their lives, according to the Department of Justice. Violation of voting rights. Those who live on reservation often struggle to go to polling sites. Natural resources on native lands face continual exploitation. Many Native American families don't have clean water. Indigenous communities face an alarming lack of health equity. Indigenous teenagers are 30% more likely than white ones to be obese, according to U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The 14th Amendment. On July 1868, the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution was passed. The 14th, the 13th, and the 15th Amendment were focused on civil rights and rebuilding the war-torn nation. At first, Native Americans were not granted citizenship by this amendment because they were under jurisdiction of tribal laws. But in 1924, Congress passed the Indian Citizenship Act, which grants Native American citizenship rights. American Indian Movement is a militant American Indian civil rights organization founded in Minnesota in 1968 by Dennis Banks, Clyde Bell Colt, Eddie Benton Panay, and George Mitchell. The original purpose was to help Indians in urban ghettos who had been displaced by government programs forcing them to move from reservations. Current leaders: Audra Simpson, scholar and professor of anthropology at Columbia University; Christos, poet and activist; Nathan Phillips, activist; and Oren Lyons, faith keeper and activist. Audra Simpson, member of the Mohawk tribe. She is a scholar and professor at Columbia University. She focuses on the politics of recognition. She wrote a book, Mohawk Interrupts, which was celebrated by Indigenous studies scholars as a critical attestation to education on tribal community and national identity. Simpson focuses on native epistemologies, how knowledge can be known. Organization leading the change. One current organization advocating for native rights is American Indian Business Leaders. It is a non-profit organization designed to support and to promote the education and development of future Native American leaders. Simultaneously, they try to maintain and incorporate cultural values. As far as I'm concerned, I do believe the goal has not been accomplished. This group does not achieve equal protection to life and liberty in today's world. How we as people can eliminate discrimination and ensure equal protection. Social media are a way where many have begun educating others about it. As an example, James Jones, a Cree influencer and dancer, has a lively Instagram and TikTok community due to the videos he creates. He displays his tribe's traditional regalia and dance, as well as he educates viewers on the misconception about natives.